So how would someone break into it? Someone wants to be a private chef. They're working in a restaurant on the line now, or they're just getting out of culinary school, whatever. They're like, this is my dream. How would you advise them? What would you say they do first?
I think it's a good idea to network with the different agencies. I mean, ideally locate yourself in an area where there are agencies. Like South Florida is great, California is great, New York, great. And, get your resumes to them, get their feedback. Like a lot of these agents are like pretty happy to tell you, what doesn't look great on your resume, or like what clients are coming in that, like, what needs they're trying to fill. So, if they're saying, we really need someone who's open to this kind of flexibility in their schedule, or we're really looking for someone who has this kind of culinary background, like you can kind of get a sense like what in your resume needs help.
They could probably help you with fees too, or what to charge, or how much you're going to make. So then that would help with that area.
Yeah, I mean, they are pretty good at giving you a clue of like what a particular, like if you're looking for a more full-time position, what that's worth in the culinary world. There are definitely positions where you can make a ton of money, but as far as like your work-life balance, like that's maybe not so great. So I think it's important to kind of keep that in mind, how important that is to you. And there are definitely clients though that are looking for people part-time, or that are more reasonable with the hours and days that they're expecting. There are people that are looking for someone seasonally. So maybe you can like work really, really hard for a few months in the summer in the Hamptons and then be done for the year. Who knows? Like, there's definitely people that do that. There's people that work in the yachting industry and have, months on and months off.
Some provide room and board as well. So there might even be living.
Well, that's another thing you have to consider. And for me, I've been offered that situation and I'm like, hey, that sounds like a really great deal up front, because you're like, free rent. And then like you get there and you're like, oh wait, I live at my job and I already work a lot. So like you're pretty much always going to be working if you're there, because it's like, oh, there's Chef Amber again. Hey, I need a snack. And it's like, no, like, so I think you've got to kind of be honest with yourself. And it really is so dependent on the particular client you're working with. Like I've worked with some people that are just like amazing and super flexible and like really, nice people. And some people that just, outrageous. And a lot of times the agencies know, and so that's another important thing. Instead of getting locked into, let me please the agent by yes. Like I started being like, how's this client? Like, instead of wondering about myself, like being like, can you tell me a little more about them? Are they difficult? And the agents a lot of times will be honest with you. Well, yeah, this is the 17th chef. Time we've tried to place a chef this 6-month period, and they could be a little bit critical. And so you kind of are, okay, I'm not wasting my time on that interview, because that's not, and I think the more you talk to the agents and you get comfortable, they know what's a good fit for you too, like based on what you're looking for. So calling them and having a real conversation and telling them, and, and then you start to get a sense of like, is there anything about my resume that would stand out to a prospective client? Sometimes it's something as simple as like, oh, we see you really like sailing, and, these clients are really into that. And, you find common ground on something, like if someone saw in my resume, oh, you used to be an attorney. Well, we're kind of thinking maybe the chef might take on some household manager responsibilities a little bit. That actually might work. Like, you don't know what from your background might appeal to them depending on the position. And I think sometimes, people that come from a different career background, they might have some skills that they don't think is relevant to chefing, but for that particular client might be exactly, oh, that'd be great. Like,
Now, besides agencies, how else would you market yourself, or how do people? I guess you have a website. Is that how you get your name out there? Or?
Yeah, here there are no agencies here. So I used to have my own website, but with all the search engine stuff and everything, I don't think that I could afford financially to keep up with making that something people were going to encounter, especially here because a lot of the clients I get are coming from out of town. You have to have a nationally recognized website for these people to find you. So they're finding private chefs on like something like Thumbtack or like websites like that. Um, there's another one called like Take a Chef or something like that. Um, but those are the national websites that will pop up for them. So you got to have like a listing on there. For local people here, having like a Facebook or Instagram page, that's where a lot of people local here find me. I have a Google Place like set up, and I'll get messages on there. And then just networking in the community with, there's certain organizations here, like, I think Savannah Vegetarians knows about me and a couple other places. So if they have people coming there, do you know someone who could do a party? They'll send them to me.
Like maybe wine shops or gourmet markets or something like that, having someone shows up and asks.
Oh yeah, and I'm in Whole Foods. Like, let's be real, like daily. We have a fresh market too, and like, yeah, they know who I am because I'm always there. So it helps to just like have more of a relationship. Like if you're going to buy seafood and just kind of throwing it out there. Oh yeah, I'm a private chef, da, 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 and then people.
You hear anybody?
Yeah, exactly. Like it's good to just have business cards on you. When I first moved here, I went to a lot of horrible, uncomfortable networking events, just meeting people in the community. And, you do a couple parties here and there, and eventually you bump into, we run this organization locally. It'd be great to have you for a party. But I get a lot of people now that are referrals from other people that I've done a party for. Or,
sure.
One thing about working with a lot of tourists is it's not a lot of repeat business, but I almost feel like that's like a totally separate part of my business from the local stuff that I do.
So you could probably have business cards or something. So if you're doing an event and someone wanted it, then you can get new business from that.
I do that. I've definitely, I always get pitched to do like, hey, will you do free food at a table at our event? And I'm like, no. I've moved away from that because that never, for me, I don't know, maybe it works for somebody, but I don't feel like that's ever done anything for me. But I get a lot of offers like, hey, want to provide free food at our event? I'm like, no, I don't know you. Bye.